It always helps. Dad's 80th birthday.
Together for the first time.
Hi, Dad. Hey, Aunt Rose.
Wait, you were so impressed with the chopsticks you never met.
Then I grew up in North Carolina.
Hey, Susan.
When the toast was.
Zoe.
You all got the chopsticks.
Sitting down there. Max was in the floor. And this is my grandmother and my children. This is my grandmother. 3 sisters. And Laura. Yeah, and Laura was the youngest. Definitely. So there were 3 sisters.
Yeah. Last night we were on the
Want to do some shooting, Lawrence?
No red light.
Now you're shooting. Now we're going.
Going? Yeah. The red light. You covered all the way with your finger? Same place?
Let's go.
Hey, where's Laura? Okay.
Maybe she should.
Open the TV camera.
That's it. I don't want to. I just don't want to see that. I'm going to see antibiotics.
Daddy, what do you have to say for Max's birthday?
80 years. Of course, we're a little early.
So what do you think of Barnaby's?
I didn't say hello to
And what do you think of little baby Zoe?
Baby Zoe, kitty pie, lots of grandchildren, including you.
And you're looking very suave, I must say, in your new haircut. Showed off for the camera. Ooh, nice.
David's already taken 3.
identical to Robbie as a baby. Really? Identical. Sorry about that, but totally Robbie.
That's funny because I looked at the pictures. I didn't see that. I do see that she resembles him a little bit now.
Yeah, you didn't see that not as a baby.
Yeah, but not as a baby.
You're as good as
Yeah, just turn left out the door.
Okay, you're getting There, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your...
Phyllis, bring Zoe.
we all make mistakes. Morley.
Where'd you get that from?
We were, like I just said, we were driving on Mulholland, and I pulled off and we stopped at a little turnout to look at the lookout point, and these guys that were riding, cycles, full on, hardcore cyclists, said, excuse me, said, can we take your property?
We started getting all the different I told Carl the only way to stop was to get rid of
I guess that's who they knew how old I was. I was like, you know what?
Susan's trying.
There they go.
No, I told Susan she said do it.
Susan.
Never met him before. Oh, that's funny. That's why. Isn't that funny? Had no idea.
Oh,
You're all in. I've got a wide angle left.
Okay.
Thank you.
A few weeks ago, and we were all sitting kind of around the ends.
From under the arms. Do we have her? I know, I saw
I want to welcome all of you, especially all of you who've come from far away, like Santa Barbara, or even farther away, like Hawaii, Canada, Toronto, New York, and all points of San Diego, and everywhere from all over the country, and out of this country. And I'm going to be your unofficial MC tonight, self-appointed, just because somebody's got to do it. So I just turned 51. I'm the oldest, so it's my job. Anyway, hooray! For the evening, you might notice we're in a special room in the hotel. It's the next Starkman room. And you'll notice we've put a few things up around the room of some of his past work from Starkman and Associates for you to enjoy, as well as some old photos and things. And later on after dinner, we'll be telling a few stories and things about my dad, and hope you'll all enjoy them. So for now, they're going to be serving salad shortly. They'll be taking your dinner orders. Your place cards are color-coded, and I think there's only one mistake, Phyllis's, so be sure to tell them. All right, and anyway, and the waiters are here to help you, and if you want anything, drinks, anything else.
The bar's open.
Your bar's open and whatever, and glad to have you all here, and hope we'll have a nice evening.
Hooray! Yay!
Happy birthday again. So glad we all can be together.
Happy birthday, Dad. Early. Give him a kiss. Oops, I'm sorry. Hi, Marita. Okay.
$1 cable that you need for copying from one to the other.
I know, me too. I'll breathe on my own, thank you. I've been doing it all these years.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Welcome to Dad's 80th birthday party.
Oh yeah, it's blinding. But the light makes a big difference. The light makes a big difference. It really does. I know Lauren hates it, so he'll flip the camera off. But...
I know.
Hi, sweetie. Hi. Hi, Mommy. Hi. Say happy birthday, Max. Thank you. Cammie, say happy birthday, Max. Really? She got mad? Wait a minute. I hear some wildness here.
No.
You got somebody's attention.
Okay, let's get down.
Daniela. Hi. Daniela. Help. She is so cute.
I've gotten used to this.
Hi, Jackie. Hi, Brian.
That's your buddy, huh?
Trying to get her to
Excuse me.
It's not like Gabriella, she's older already, she's a man. Daniela's been around.
Hi, Aunt Ida.
Not that close, Robbie. I don't want every
I'm turning the light off.
I want a screen on there, and I want you to bust every wrinkle.
You won't see him. Do you have any words for Max?
What can I say to that?
Happy birthday, early.
Hold on, let me I'm going to be very original. I'm going to say, happy birthday till 120, and I'm so happy that Boris and I are able to be here to celebrate with the family.
Did you see the pictures of you in the Polaroids from 40 years ago?
Nope.
You got to look before you go. They're here. I brought them in. The album. I guess it's over here. I brought them. I'll bring them over right now. Myrna's in there. Myrna saw them all.
Hi, Uncle Max. Let me tell you, I remember when you came back from the war, and I was 9 years old, and I was so excited. My Uncle Max was coming back from the war. We stood under S for Starkman to watch you march down University Avenue, and that's my first remembrance of Uncle Max, because you were away in the war. It was the first time I really met you.
How old were you?
I was 9.
I can't believe it. You look too young to have been around then. Okay. Aunt Rose, any words for your brother?
You want to take my bag?
How about a happy birthday word? This is a movie camera. You can talk. What? What? What'd you say?
Why can't she possibly say?
What can she say? After 90 years, she can say anything she wants.
Mother, what do you want to say to Max?
Celebrating his 90th birthday and then 100th.
Okay.
Wonderful opening.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so lucky.
You are lucky.
Brother like that. Two brothers. They're all wonderful. Each and every one of them.
Thank you.
I did a good job. I did a good job. Listen. I did a good job.
You did do a good job. You raised everybody.
Yes, I did a good
And you had to learn English too, right?
I'm very proud of the job I did. They're all beautiful people. And I love them.
A minute to kick off, and then
Wait a minute, what are you doing? What are you doing down there?
Crazy. Look at that big.
Zoe, what are you doing, huh? What are you doing there? Hi!
change it to 77.
My earliest memory.
She is cruising for a bruising. Oh! That is a pretty dessert, huh?
Isn't it?
Yes. Okay, here's the birthday menu.
And the fish is all on ice.
What are you doing?
This is like we're gonna have to drive to it.
And here's the dessert cake.
Traveling so much. You know, it's tiring, isn't it?
Where are the candles?
But it's tiring.
Well, you know, you have to remember that I don't know the story though.
Oh, yummy.
I want to show you. You know what?
Let's pan the room here.
Oh, hello. Spoil sport.
Spoil sport, I said. Mother, remember I showed you you were visiting me in Vancouver, and I showed you this cute short outfit. I said, isn't this cute, Mother? You said, wear it early on your cruise. That's right. I showed my mother years ago, I was going on a cruise. She was visiting. I said, look at this cute short outfit. I says, I'm tucking it in now. She says, wear it early on your cruise. Oh, he's got adorable.
What is this?
The birthday spatula.
Well, hi.
Wait, Uncle Mark's come.
Where is he?
He went to the room to get the camera. Here he is.
Or that.
We're all waiting for you, Uncle Mark.
I'm going to stand in a second. Hi, everybody. Sit down a second. A second. Hi, everyone. Again, while you're enjoying your dessert, part one. We also have, in addition to that, some birthday cake. And, well, 2 birthday cakes.
We didn't have enough to eat.
Like usual, everything in excess. You know, I'll try to bring. Well, logistically, I'm not sure how we'll do this, but I'll bring one over there, and we'll do it. But before I bring them over, maybe we can use a little musical background one more time and sing Happy Birthday.
All together.
All right.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Max. Happy birthday to you. Wow. All for you, Dad.
Yeah, Mike's a dessert.
Wait. Here we go.
Here we go. Stand up and take a picture.
We got a second chance. Hold on. One more. Yeah, we gotta blow this one out too. I want to get a picture.
Oh my God. Another one?
Don't ask me why. I guess she thought with 30 people in here, you know. It has a message. She's up.
There we go.
Look, the candles.
Look! Wow! Wow! Blow out the candles. Woo.
No.
Maybe it's on the other board, Nancy.
Well, you know, I got blown away.
Go that way. That way. Oh yeah, but the other side.
Robbie, that wasn't nice. I was eating like
Shirley Temple.
Hey, honey.
Is Shirley Temple. It's Shirley Temple. Let's see, one more time. Hi.
Such an ordinary camera.
This is, it's not one. Stories to tell. We're all enjoying coffee and dessert. Let me start off. On your invitation, it said bring a story to tell about Max or whatever. So maybe I'll start just because I'm emceeing. I'm 51 years old last week, so I guess I've sort of known Max for 51 years. And I've seen him go through a lot of changes. As a child, I remember the dad who, instead of playing baseball on the weekends, would pile us into the back of the Studebaker and drive us out to a construction site to see
In Monterey Park.
Monterey Park and other places to see how the buildings were going. And we
I love those construction
spent
sites.
our weekends playing in sand piles and inadvertently learning what the inside of a home looks like before it's built, and picking up the slugs from the electrical contractors, and that's early recollections. And later, when I was a teenager, I went away to school and I'd come back, and he'd occasionally give me some interesting pearls of wisdom. One of them was, I used to date a lot, believe it or not. And once he actually said to me, David, when you meet the right girl, you're really going to know it. And I didn't believe him really, but he turned out to be absolutely right. I never thought I'd get married. I never thought I'd meet one that would actually make me feel that way. But he was right. And in more recent years, I never thought I'd see my dad retire, but I did. And I never thought I'd see him as happy as he still is today. And it's a tribute to his perseverance and everything he's done. I can't say enough, except that I've had a really happy life because of my dad and both my parents. My mother, who can't be, who is no longer with us. I thank to both of them. And I just want to say thank you, Dad, and we love you, and glad we can all be here together to share a special day for you. Next, I don't know about others of you, but I know my dad's younger brother Morris told me he had a few things he'd like to say, so maybe he'd like to go next and fill us in on some things that I never knew about.
Okay, Uncle Boyd.
Yes.
The invitation said, bring a story or a picture or some episode about the Max. And I thought to myself, how can I bring a picture, an episode selected from 78 years of a closeness with a brother that I don't know exists in too many families.
That's right, that's right.
So I thought what I would do is indulge in some history about growing up with Max. Okay? A little nostalgia, but I'm sure this is information I think their kids don't even know about. Our parents had 7 children. We lived in an 11-room house at 466 Dundas Street, and we were born in the midst of a terrible depression. It was known as the Hungry 30s, and the family where the male earner would earn, say, $10, $15 a week was a rich man. You could buy a loaf of bread for a nickel, a quart of milk for 3 cents. It was incredible. But anyhow, growing up, in those years, things were very tough. You had like 9 people living in a house, and in addition to that, 4 of the rooms were rented out to help pay for part of the mortgage, the principal and interest. So things often were a little rough. But with Max, when we were kids, everybody pitched in. Whenever anything happened, somehow or other, Uncle Max disappeared. He disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to tell us something we didn't know.
One of the frequent occurrences in the house was the sewers would back up. And when the sewers would back up, the cellar would just be full.
Floating, but with...
Floating. Everybody pitched in to try and drain it. Max disappeared. Okay.
Max disappeared.
Anyhow, as we grew up, we found that Max had a real talent for drawing. And I'll deal with that aspect in a couple of minutes. But whereas the rest of us went to work, at wherever we could earn, you know, any amount of money. Max was a little different. For example, I worked as a message boy for Harry Hashmole 60 hours a week for a nickel an hour, to earn $3. Later on, I sold soap from door to door and so on. But Max wouldn't, you know, subject himself to these menial jobs. He was an entrepreneur. So the first episode that he had with earning money, he decided that he was going to make signs. He's going to make signs for anybody that was, you know, wanted to, a storekeeper that wanted to put a poster in the window about his products and so on. Max decided, because of his, you know, talent and art, that he could do this. So he started making these signs, and he built up quite a little business. And how old was he? 12, 13 years old. Then when that started to fade out.
Wait, didn't he do it for the deli?
He did it for shops.
And he went into did the summer camp for them?
He did the summer camp for them. He did all right. Then we had at the exhibition, at the Canadian National Exhibition in the summertime, they had a sing-song every Sunday. And what they used to do, they had these huge billboards, and somebody had to print out the words to the music that was being played. Max got the job. He would go ahead in chalk, do you remember that, Max? And he would write out the songs, and let me tell you, he made good money. Then later on, the big thing was a lot of the clubs would have crests and sweaters. And Max says, you know, this is easy. So he became a bit of a tailor. He made crests, cut them out, designed them, sold them, and again he built up, you know, a fair bit of business. Then after that, he decided he's had enough of school. Now, what was he going to do? He was going to go into the potato chip business. Potato chip business? Where did you come up? He said, well, the thing is, this is the up-and-coming thing. Potato chips were just coming out from this little bag, and they had taken off pretty good. We figured, boy, I'm going to get in on the ground floor. Well, let me tell you, it took a job to talk him out of that. Then finally, school. School, I tell you, that was a problem. He hated school. He hated school.
I remember they used to bow to him when he'd come in.
Oh, you decided to show up today, Mr. Stark. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. But anyhow, he decided that air conditioning was a big thing that was coming into popularity then. Air conditioning. So he was going to quit school, and he was going to go to a special company that was specializing in designing air conditioning units and so on. Well, we talked him out of that. And then, of course, by the time he reached age 18, he decided, well, it's time he went into the Army, joined the Army. And on his 18th birthday, 30 days after he joined, he volunteered to go overseas, and was overseas, you know, on his 18th birthday. I can go on from there and tell everybody what happened during the war, but I think most of you do know. But let me tell you, it hasn't changed in terms of our relationship. I might say that as kids, it was a little rough.
Did a little fighting.
So I have a question to ask you. You had a black horse when you were a little boy.
Don't ask, Lord. Don't ask.
And I think we need to document, what was that horse's name?
And the horse wouldn't go to the bathroom if he was looking.
Oh, yeah. That was,
Lord. I never heard of a black horse.
They had a horse.
that
What
is
was the horse's name?
I'm not gonna
Fancy,
tell you
I'll
that.
tell you later.
Uncle Morris, I have two questions for you.
Yeah,
First of all, when you did the sign painting job,
yeah.
didn't you get, you saved all his money to buy some sports coat that got taken and you hung it on the fence or something right away?
Didn't
that happen?
I told you that story, yeah.
And-
But I gotta tell you about the horse that we had.
Tell us about the horse. Which horse was this?
Rebby.
This was Rebby.
It's your father's horse.
This was Rebby.
That wasn't what, that's not what Lauren is looking for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this horse, like my dad used to be in the second-hand clothing business. He built up a clientele. And he would go visit his clients, you know, with his horse and little buggy. And the buggy was used to, you know, hold all the suits and slacks and so on that he would buy. The pony was a pony. First of all, he took better care of the pony than he did of his kids. He would have that horse at the vet veterinarians regularly, and he would polish him, and he would put red ribbons in his. He looked at it; it was incredible. But anyhow, the pony was trained that whenever they went out, he knew where every client was. When they go along the street, he would know where to stop. The other thing is, he wouldn't urinate in the street. Nobody would believe it. He would wait until he came home and either, well, Max would die or even Jeanette would unbridle the pony, take him into the stable and shut the door. If we left the door open, the pony would turn around to see if anybody was watching. If the door was open, we'd have to close the door and then suddenly you would hear the onrush of coming down. Oh, them were the days. And then of course, Max figured out another way of making money. We used to take all our friends and say, want to go horseback riding? 2 cents for a ride around our backyard. Oh, them were the days.
He was a businessman from the day he
Anyhow,
was born.
I think I've spoken long enough, but Max, I want to tell you, it's very difficult for us to express how we feel about you and all the siblings and sisters and brothers and so on. But we want to wish you on your 80th birthday good health, and may I rest from John until 120.
Amen.
Amen.
No, I want to say something. I didn't expect to say anything tonight, but I must tell you, I'm overwhelmed with what is going on here tonight. First of all, I must tell you, I forgot all about the pictures I see on the wall. How could I possibly have forgotten them? I did. To look at them, I have to recall that I was the one who started off with nothing. I arrived from Winnipeg when I graduated in Los Angeles and got a job for $100 a week.
With Richard Nightbrook.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money at that time.
And I worked for 2 years and 2 months, and then I went on my own. I was stupid. I had no glide. I had no money. I had nothing. But I was successful from day one. And I finally built up a clientele with 180 people in my office, and plus the consultants, which were about another 40 people. And I had one of the pioneer firms of architects after the war, and I was extremely successful. I don't want to give the impression because I knew what I was doing. I had no idea anything about business. I really.
Raw talent.
Here's my princess number
Well,
one.
Gabriella has something she wants to say.
Papa, I love you.
In the event to get around with the story, I'm going to tell you to see all you beautiful people here tonight and the wonderful evening this is, and to see these pictures on the wall. I forgot all about them. I had no idea what I did. And I'm going to tell you, when I get over this vacation and I go back home, I'm going to have these pictures printed, showing they are part of the story of my practice. I must repeat, I had one of the pioneer firms of architects after the war. I have a picture in my brochure, which is divided into 5 sections, and one of them had to deal with people. And I'm going to tell you, when I look at the lineup of people, they were, I must have had 24 men out of a firm of 180 plus the consultants that were absolutely brilliant. And a number of them went on, and they have the most successful firms today in Los Angeles. But getting back to these pictures, believe me, when I tell you, I've forgotten all about them. How could I forget what I slaved all those years to work on? But I did.
A labor of love,
But to see them all collected in one piece,
Did you see
not
this
all of
one?
them.
This is
only
just a
part
few of them. This is just a few of them that
Just a
we.
few.
Yeah.
When I
Well, this one we see every day. We live in Culver City, and every day we drive by this building, and it's still one of the most outstanding buildings in the city.
That's Sony now.
It's now Sony Pictures owns it. It's Sony Pictures Entertainment's offices.
Now, what I want to tell you, I had no idea about the town I really had. I had a tremendous town.
Too bad you have no ego.
And
Wait a minute. I want to say something. Excuse me, Uncle Max. But being the oldest granddaughter, the oldest grandchild, I can say that we all lived together in the same house, and I went to the same elementary school that Max went to. And I am 15 years younger than Max.
Don't tell anybody. Make it more.
15 years younger
You're
than Max.
my age. I mean, I'm your age.
Yeah,
You're
right.
younger.
So I'm 15 years younger than Max, and he may say that he didn't really have the talent. But when I went into grade 1, the teacher told me that, the teacher told my mother that she saved Max's art from grade 1. And that was 15 years later.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
That is right.
That is
15
the
years-
honest truth.
The God's
yes.
honest truth that she had saved my Uncle Max art. I have to tell you that when I grew up in the family and I lived with my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, Max was away at war. Okay, so I never knew my Uncle Max. So my first recollection of Uncle Max is, Uncle Max is coming home from the Second World War. And the family, the excitement, I was 9 years old, the excitement in that home you could touch. And my grandparents had a big sign made, Welcome home, Maxie. Maxie. And we stood under S for Starkman, because all the soldiers were marching down University Avenue. And you stood under the name, under the, and it was a rainy day as I recall. I was so excited my Uncle Max was coming home. Of course, he tore that sign down immediately when he got home. He ripped the sign off. That was my first recollection of my Uncle Max, was the excitement of him coming home from war. And we've had a wonderful relationship ever since.
How could you not?
Well, I have to add one little thing to that story
Yeah.
when you're done. Well,
No,
when
I
you're
just
done.
wanted to
Sorry.
say that thanks Uncle Max and my late Aunt Gloria for being so special to Lauren and to me. Love you very much.
Just one little footnote to that uncle, the sign that she was talking about that said "Welcome Home, Maxie." When my brother and I were, Lauren and I were, you'll have to remind me now, I think we were about 5 and 6 years old. Or was it
Something like
6 and
that.
7?
Something like that.
Something like that. So maybe I was 7. So it's 1957. My mom took us for the first time to visit the relatives in Canada. We took a train, I think the El Capitan, from LA to Chicago. And then Chicago, we got a Viscount airplane that had windows this big. And one of my first plane, I think my first plane flight, our first plane flight, to Toronto and then to Winnipeg.
We did the whole Canada
And we
tour.
went to Toronto and we visited my grandparents, Zadie and Bubby. And they took us, we went down into the basement. Strung across the wall in the basement was still the sign that said, "Welcome Home, Maxie." And I still remember, that's of everything on that trip, that's one of the most vivid memories I have, was seeing that sign in the basement.
And I still have the scar from where Zeta pinched my cheek.
I don't remember, I don't know what happened to the sign after that or how many years it lasted, but they had it at least till 1957, still in the basement.
Okay, now,
Okay, Ida,
I want to say something, okay? I don't know whether I should roast them or toast them. But I'm the wife of the younger brother who always lived in the shadow of Max. But one thing I have to tell you, Morris has always been very, very proud of Max. There was never any sibling rivalry, except when you took his shirt collar and he didn't have it. I think it was your father. He took it and
I
he
never
picked you
forget
up.
that day.
Yeah. But, or we'd go out and somebody would say to my father-in-law, "You have a great son." Him? Man, you should see my other son. He's something, okay? Or I'd say, I'd stay at the house and my mother-in-law would say, "Oh, Max, well, when I made mashed potatoes, I had to make them." He used to take a paper cone and trim the potatoes so they shouldn't be just plain mashed potatoes, right? And you put them in now they have tubes for that, but in those days, he used to do it that way. Then my first recollection of Max, I had moved into the Starkman home.
You too?
I didn't think I met him. I moved into the house, and that summer...
That was the beginning of the end.
That summer, Gloria and Max came. Yes.
I love TV.
Oh, Anyway, Gloria Max came to Toronto, okay? And the prince here, everybody, Max, hello? He had a dog, okay?
Oh,
He
yeah.
had a little dog at the house.
Mulkey.
No, this was in Toronto after.
Oh, after Mulkey.
Anyway, Gloria one day didn't feel well. And she says, "Max, I don't feel well." He says, "You'll be all right." Fine. A week later, that damn little dog got sick.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the night, we didn't have a car. He woke up Gloria to come with him. I mean, he's not going himself. But he took Gloria, and off they went to the vet with the dog. And Gloria says, "Look at that. Last week I was sick. He said you'll get better. Now he's running with the dog." Okay? But anyway, all I can say, Max, anybody who was kind to a dog
Yes.
is kind to everybody.
That's true.
And I'm forgiving you for all the time that you have phoned and told me what to do and told Morris what to do. And how many times did I say to Morris, "Your brother Max," and he'd always stick up for you. I couldn't say one word against Prince Maxwell. But you know what? I think Morris was right. You are great.
I love Aunt Susan.
I think Gabrielle loves everybody.
Congratulations.
Someone else like to say?
Sure.
Rob.
Okay. I love Aunt Susan.
I have a short story, and I want to relate it back to Uncle Morris's story.
Okay.
Two of the most memorable trips that I've done in my life were with my dad, just the two of us. And the first one was in 1988, when the two of us went to Europe together. We went to England, and he took me to all the places where he was in World War II before D-Day. We went to what was it? All the shots, Brandshot, Aldershot, all those places where you were marching around, and then London, and Canada House, and all those places. And then we went over to France, and he took me to the D-Day beaches and all the places around that. So that was a very memorable trip. We even went to the World War I battlefields. He took me to, was it Vimy Ridge, where I guess the Canadians did quite a good job there, I guess.
Ypres?
We didn't go to Ypres, but we did go to Vimy Ridge. The other really important trip that we went on together, just the two of us, was in 1993. We went to Israel for a couple of weeks. And as part of that trip, the highlight of the trip was we spent some time visiting with all the cousins there, which was really incredible. And you should have seen my dad. This was his sister Cookie's 4 kids. It was Victor, Perry, Shayna Dina, and Brian and Nartova, and their husbands or wives. And between the 4 kids, they had, at that time, I think 22 children.
Wow.
God knows what the number is now. Maybe it's 30. But one of the highlights was having lunch with them and dinner with them, and all these kids just crowding around. It was just amazing. And he was smiling ear to ear the entire time. Just incredible. But on that trip, we spent a few days also in Tel Aviv. And in Tel Aviv, we went to the Diaspora Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Which I guess the exhibits there were designed by your cousin Shmuel.
Shmuel Grunman.
And as part of that museum, we went to the museum, and there's a section there where there's videos that you can check out and see different videos. And they had a catalog of all the videos, and some of them were sort of Canadian. And one of the videos was called "My Grandfather Had a Hotel." And he said, "We got to check this one out." So we checked it out, and we put it on, and we watched it. And it was about Shopsy's Hotel, where he painted the signs. And he spent the summer there. And I'd never seen pictures of it or anything. And this video was, I guess, created by the granddaughter of Shopsy.
Yeah.
And I guess it was sort of like the Catskills.
Did you see any of the signs? It said shop.
And let me tell you, he went on Shopsy. They went to the
Catskills.
mountains, where they had a hotel. So another boyfriend of his came, and he didn't stay long. He came back. So he says, Max, he was carrying 50 pounds of ice on his shoulders. He says, you think he's having a holiday? Don't believe him. You should see how he's working. Let me tell you, nothing was too hard for this guy. Nothing. But when he came into this world, I loved him from the day he was born. From the day he was born, I worshipped him, and I still worship him to this day. My brothers are, I'm so lucky to have such a family. And I feel very good that I was sort of the master of the whole thing. And let me tell you, I think I did a pretty good job, wouldn't you say? Hear, hear.
All right, can I just give one more story from way back when?
Yeah.
Where Max could do no wrong, okay? Max had a boyfriend, and that boyfriend was...
Are you sure you want to share this?
Yeah, Max had a boyfriend. And that fellow was a pure, innocent young fellow. Max soon took him down the primrose path. Okay? Down the primrose path. He taught him what to eat that he shouldn't be eating, what to do that he shouldn't be doing. But he came home, and my father-in-law said to this poor young innocent boy, Stanley, you're ruining my son. To this day, we see Stanley in Toronto, and he'd say Stanley, but he said it in Yiddish, so if I say it, you're not going to...
Well, you can say
it. Say it in Yiddish.
Say it in Yiddish.
Stanley, du verfirst mein Maxi. Staring Max on so Prince could do no wrong. This poor Stanley Fruitman. Hey, it's a Lemushka.
Pa used to call him the prince. You know, he only wore egg-prevent suits, anders and ishkevoyen.
I just want to add one more thing to my story, and I just want to say that I think my dad has been just an incredible role model to me and my siblings. I think he's got great values, hard work, saving your money, wise, he's kind, he's generous to a fault, he's charitable, he has a very strong sense of family, and I hope he's passed those things on to me, and I hope I can pass them on to my daughter Zoe. Thank you.
I think my cousin Lauren, who was like my older brother when I was growing up, and maybe my dad's first son, would like to say a few things.
You know, it's amazing. A little over a year ago, my sister and I were talking about having a party for my mom, who was approaching 90. And we decided to give her an 89th birthday because we didn't think Max would make this next year, you know. So we're glad to have you around. And I remember, you know, as you hear my mom talking about her brother, and she was always really proud of him, and he was always her hero. Well, when I was about, 13 or 14, I got a job to work for Max. And he had an office down on La Brea. And they said, well, what are they going to give me to do? So he had this room full of old drawings. Do you remember that? And, you know, like, I always heard these great things about my uncle. And when they gave me this job to go in and organize this room, I couldn't believe how inept my uncle was because it was such disarray. And I spent months organizing his history of all his drawings. So he was one of the first jobs I ever had. And he was a great boss. He left me alone, paid me well, you know? And I don't know, and when I was growing up, you know, David and Lawrence were just a little bit younger than me, and I spent every weekend with my uncle, and he was a really great guy, and still continues to be a great guy. And I love him, and we're glad that you're still around. Happy 80th.
I think Dad has a new nickname. I was just talking, I didn't tell you this, I ran into Joy Marcus. Remember the Marcus?
I remember Joy.
Yeah, she told us a story about how Robbie came after her with a knife one night, which is embarrassing. But anyway, he said, Dad, he's like the Energizer Bunny. Just keeps going and going and going.
Wait, I have something to say too. I just want to pick up on the fact that Max always really needed an archivist. And so I think where you started to organize his drawings, it was very easy to find all these pictures because you've just got them stored in the house. So we just went in the house when you weren't looking.
You never missed
We
them.
took them and they've been gone for months.
That room is such a mess, you can't tell anything's missing.
Right. But it was fun putting this together, and it was. I hope you all read that. This is a
That's
wonderful.
an early one.
That's from the 1950s.
65, I guess.
65.
65 LA Times.
It's a wonderful success story about what you've created and what you've left to the world. Not only the buildings, but these wonderful children. And I'm glad I own one.
And we're so glad we have
I
you.
forgot to say, in my introduction, I was going to say about everything around us here. I might have the quote slightly wrong, but the great architect Sir Christopher Wren, who rebuilt London after the Great Fire, on his monument, it says in Latin, Si monumentum requiris circumspice, which I believe roughly translated means if you require a monument, look around you. And I think the exact same epitaph or motto, phrase, would very appropriately describe my dad, the architect, and the buildings he's left all over LA. And Rob's going to have to be the archivist because he knows more of the buildings than any of us. I don't know half the number that he is aware of.
You know the ones in Monterey Park.
Well, I don't even know where they are now, but someday we'll have to document all the different buildings in one
David,
place.
look around you means look at what he's left.
Oh, it's not just the building.
Other than the building.
But I thought the tie-in to Christopher Wren was a nice.
But I did want to add one last thing. One of the first things I remember about meeting you was that Max could never, Gloria could tell a joke better than anybody in the world, but Max could never tell a joke because any joke he found funny He'd laugh until he couldn't tell the joke at all. So he wouldn't even get to the first line, and you'd be standing there waiting to hear this joke. And he'd laugh himself sick before you'd ever hear it. I thought that was a pretty good quality. You amused yourself to no end. But I love watching you laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I want to interrupt this dialogue. Hey, where you going?
She hasn't stopped. What do you want to say, sweetie?
I like Charlotte, so I was trying and
So you like Papa.
and I didn't want to like. I like Disneyland.
She's gonna be a speech maker, I'll tell you.
I didn't hear that.
She loves Disneyland.
You want to?
Disneyland, y'all like
Disneyland.
Well, on that note, I'll say my dad always tried to, my entire life, tried to get me to find the right job, the right career, the right husband, and have the right children, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
What's two?
Even though he wants me to have 2 more, I won't.
Mommy.
He gave you good advice, and I'm glad you listened. Yeah, right.
Okay, enough.
Uncle Papa. Mickey and Minnie.
And I love you, Dad.
We all love your
I
man.
don't want this to honor it. I think we better go off while we're all ahead. I want to tell you, I came in here tonight not knowing what to expect, and I'm overwhelmed. I forgot all about these buildings, and they mean a great deal to me.
Then you could have all these pictures.
And I tell you, when I get home, I will take these pictures and have them reproduced into a booklet for my family, so they'll know what I've done. Part of the story. I've done a great deal more, but here you see, get a taste of what I did.
You know, a couple moved into Murrieta when I lived there, and so I greeted them and I started talking to him. He tells me he's an architect. I said, oh, you're an architect. That's nice. I said, maybe by chance you might know my brother. He says, what's your brother's name? He says, I said, Maxwell Starkman. He says, he was my boss.
Eric wants to say something. I think.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories of Uncle Max was about 6 years ago. Uncle Max came to see me in New York, and you know, New York's an intimidating place to a lot of people, and there's a lot of attitude, and things don't function quite like they do everywhere else in the world. But Uncle Max just blew me away with how he dealt with attitude in New York. He came to visit me, he decided he didn't like my apartment, and that it had to be redone. And how many uncles would do this for you? And he says, this is not the way to live. And, so we go to this design store and we walk in, and this woman's got a ton of attitude. And Uncle Max wanted things from her, and I thought, oh, this is not going to be pretty. And within 10 minutes, this woman was running around getting Uncle Max drawings, and it was amazing. And then he repeated that in the hardware store, where he walked in and these immigrant people weren't giving him the attention that he wanted, and he went, he said, this is what I want, and within minutes, this whole store was running around, all these people getting things. But the one memory that I'll never forget, and I tell this story to everybody, when they talk about attitude in New York, I took Uncle Max to a really happening restaurant in New York, and this waitress had the quintessential New York attitude, and she had a nose ring in her nose, and this was about 7 years ago. I think it's a little more common today, and Uncle Max just stared at her, and he looked at her and he said, you're such a beautiful woman, why do you ruin your face? And I thought, oh, this is not going to be pretty. You know? And she took it in stride, and by the end of the night, they were best of friends. The way you bring out the best in people and take care of everybody is so much appreciated.
Oh, beautiful.
Think about when you see a bottle of vodka.
Oh yeah, when we were kids growing up, when Uncle Max came, it was like royalty was coming. Mom and Dad, the house had to be clean. Smirnoff, every time I see a bottle of Smirnoffs, I think of Uncle Max, because that was your brand, I believe. Which I guess in those days was a premium brand. That was
It was the only bread.
That was
before Grey Goose.
Before Grey Goose.
The kids couldn't get over. Max would sit down with that bottle of whatever, and Eric would say, "Did he finish all that?" Now Eric can match Uncle Max.
Stop drinking.
I've got one more short story that's kind of funny. When I was a kid, he used to go to the steam bath. Over the Pico steam bath.
Oh,
Over
yeah.
there by Pico.
The
and
Schwitz.
Brad.
Schwitz.
The Schwitz.
So take us to.
Lauren used to come too, though. We'd all the boys would
I'll
go.
go.
And they had these different steam baths with eucalyptus and things like that. And I remember there was this really big fat guy. He used to give a massage, and the guy's name was Seymour. Remember that? And
He'd slap you with eucalyptus leaves.
yeah. But what was funny was years and years went by after we went there, and when I was all grown up, this was maybe 10 years ago, I was reading LA Magazine. There was an article in LA Magazine about how the Pico steam baths had been remodeled, and it was kind of in place now. And all these celebrities and important people would go there. And they had a picture of this same big fat guy, and had a picture of this masseur guy, and the caption underneath said, you know, Seymour, quote, "I'm going to loosen you up."
Lauren, do you remember that? I'll tell you, he never had a lazy bone in his body. He really didn't. He was, you know, I was getting ready for Lawrence bar mitzvah. Yeah. And Gloria, I said, Gloria, she says, I have to go to the hospital. I said, hold it. She says, I can't. Max gets a headache. He gets a migraine. Who takes Gloria to the hospital? Me.
Before Lauren's bar mitzvah?
Yeah, that's
Glad you're all, just fun to have you all here. We're so glad it's working out nicely.
She can sit.
We had dinner just